Hello, dear friends, your favorite
Hack here, deep on plague.
Jackman? What are you doing here?
Well, I'm trying to be more active this year, and as incompetent as you are, you're still the only semi-doctor I know that won't charge me for an appointment.
What makes you think I won't charge you for sharing my arcane knowledge with you?
My dear, delusional friend, you don't have a medical degree. If you charge me and something goes wrong, I'll sue the hell out of you.
Sounds logical enough. Have you tried practicing a sport?
That sounds doable enough. What do you suggest?
You know, since we're talking about sports, we might as well talk about some sports games, but not your usual NBA, NHL or NRA games. No sir. Join me as we delve deep into some obscure and hidden sports games. Let's go!
Okay, Plague, what sport do you have in mind?
Well, what about football?
Are you insane? Do you know how dangerous football is? I'd risk getting my beautiful face trashed into oblivion.
Hear me out, Jackman. There's this alternative league that's way less dangerous than the traditional NFL or college football teams. Here's their card.
Mutant Football League? I'm sorry, but this sounds very sketchy, Plague.
Do you want my free help or not?
Fine. I'll take a look at it and become the best football player this pathetic league has ever seen. Jackman out.
Well, while he's off with his stuff, why don't we take a look at the actual game? That's right. For our first obscure game, we're gonna take a look at Mutant Football League. Now, you might be wondering once again, where the hell does he find these games? And while I appreciate your trust in my arcane knowledge, this one might not be as obscure as initially thought. Mutant Football League is a spiritual successor of a game called Mutant League Football, which was developed by Mutant Productions and published by EA for the Sega Genesis. In fact, I was interested in this game due to the cartoon based on the original games, called Mutant League, an extremely violent and gory show that I certainly had no business watching when I was like 5 years old, where mutants of all types would compete in high-octane sports events, and where you could see players getting dismembered, beheaded, and technically murdered, only to come back from the dead using those weird Dragon Ball Z machines. Anyway, going back to the game at hand, Mutant Football League was developed and published by Digital Dreams Entertainment, and it's a violent and exaggerated version of regular football. As the name implies, the teams in this game are made from all kinds of monsters and abominations, such as orcs, zombies, werewolves, demons, etc. Wait, those look like creatures from a franchise that milks their players for all they've got with monthly payments and microtransactions. No. These are just creatures looking to make a sports career despite their impairments. There are various game modes here. Exhibition is just your standard football match, training camp, where you can learn the basics of the game, practice mode, where you can hone your skills by playing solo or with another team, playoffs, which is a mini-season consisting of 3 games to go to the Mayhem Bowl, season, which emulates a complete season to eventually get to playoffs and the Mayhem Bowl, and Mayhem Bowl, which is just the final game for the championship. There's one other mode though, called Dynasty. This is sort of a GM mode, where you pick a team and have to take them from nothing to winning the Mayhem Bowl. As in real life, you have to manage a budget and pay your players. You can hire free agents for your team or try to trade players with other teams. To be honest, this mode is too much for me. I feel like I'd ruin the team before the first game. If you, like me, feel this is way too overwhelming, you can try season mode instead, as you only have to worry about winning games and keeping your players alive. Or undead, depending on the type of creature. But before I actually delve into a match, let's hit the training camp to get a grip of the basics. All this place and stuff seems just a bit complicated. Looks like I'll have to do some arcane research to understand the intricacies of this sport. Well, I still don't understand shit. I have no idea what I'm doing. But as in life itself, everything comes down to diving headfirst into stuff and pray to a higher power that you don't get killed. So let's get into a game. You have a wide variety of teams to choose from, each of them with various creature types, except for some very specific teams that are formed by only one class. The names must be parodies of real NFL teams, but I wouldn't know about that. The form of football that was present in my age involved a bunch of drunk Irishmen dragging an inflated pig's bladder to each end of the town. Less barbaric than its current form, if you ask me. The only team I recognized was the Midway Monsters, which was the main team present in the animated series, but the one I really wanted to see was the Screaming Evils, due to it being led by Madman, a demented hyena-man hybrid that scared the shit out of me when I was a child. Although the normal structure of the sport applies, with all its basic rules and complicated formations, there are, of course, some extra traits, like environmental effects in the fields, dirty tricks that can be implemented when planning your formation, and, as it's apparent already, lots and lots of violence. Using dirty tricks like bribing the referee and using power-ups for your team is absolutely necessary, as the opposing team won't hesitate to use them when you least expect it. Here you can see as the other team's players electrify themselves so you can take the ball from them, or turn the ball into a bomb to literally rip a hole through the player who catches it. All these tricks happen without previous warning, but the most annoying of them all is the referee bribing, as he can just nullify your touchdowns or goals and penalize you for everything. The only two ways of dealing with this tactic are either bribing the referee yourself or killing him, even though the latter tactic nets you a penalty from the next referee in charge. I don't like to meddle with bribes though. Remember, that was what got Adam Sandler in jail with a lot of WWE superstars. Another fun mechanic of the game is that your players can actually get injured or even die during games. Two of my players got killed on the very first game. If this is not to your liking, you can turn on an option so that your players revive, or even turn down the level of carnage if you're sensitive to blood and stuff. In which case, I don't know why you'd be playing a game called Mutant Football League. In fact, there are a lot of options to customize your game to make it as tame or as brutal as you want, like deactivating dirty tricks, field hazards, and weather, but I feel this takes away the essence of the game, as you'd be playing a regular football game, but with monsters. Obviously, I lost the game, but I can't deny I had fun and got excited every time I scored despite my overall unfamiliarity with the sport. This game has a lot to offer to football fans, and while it's fun just throwing yourself at it for some mindless carnage, it does require an understanding of the sport, its rules, formations, and tactics. So, check this game out if you like football, know how to play it, have been a coach for around 10 years, and you feel like the NFL games are way too tame. Well, that looked like fun. I bet Jackman is having the time of his life as a football player.
Bone Plague, what the hell is wrong with you? You told me this league was less dangerous than regular football.
It is.
I got caught by a saw blade, electrocuted, my arm was broken in multiple places, and my beautiful face got smashed in multiple times by those brutes.
Didn't you get in the rejuvenating chamber pods after the games?
Those are full of toxic waste, they only work on mutants.
Okay, calm down. I have another option for you that's less intrusive with your body and overall safety. There's this special hockey league that lets even the softest of amateurs in, no questions asked. But I gotta warn you, it's quite expensive to get in.
I don't care. Unlike you, I'm highly successful in my fields, so money is not an issue. I'll go straight to that league. Oh, Bone Plague?
Yes?
Can you give me some medicine? I am in extreme pain.
Oh, sure. Here you go.
This is just beer.
No, it's a beer with ether and morphine.
Oh, what the hell?
Let's check our second game for the day, a hidden indie game called Super Blood Hockey. Super Blood Hockey is an arcade sports game developed and published by Lauren Lemke and was released for PC on 2017, while the console versions of the game were released later in 2019. As the game implies, the sport in question is ice hockey, and the game is heavily inspired by the game Ice Hockey on the NES, and the art style is actually quite similar, with the obvious upgrades that modern technology allows. Unlike our previous foray into football, this game is actually pretty simple, as hockey itself is not a complicated sport. You have various modes in this game. Exhibition is your standard match. Tournament, that is, well, a tournament of various games. Challenge mode, where you have to beat different challenges to unlock options to modify the matches. And franchise mode, that is kind of like the story mode of the game. There's also a tutorial mode, which is the one I tried first to get the grip of controls and mechanics, and where you get a little explanation of the rules. As in regular hockey, the objective of the game is to score goals by throwing the puck into the opposing team's goal. You can pass the puck to your teammates to prevent the opposing players from gaining possession of it. You can also punch other players to take the puck away from them, and this is where the game differentiates itself from the actual sport. You see, if you punch a player enough times, a fight will break, where all the players will go into a frenzied brawl, and the team who knocks out the other team gets an advantage by weakening the opposition. Now that I think about it, that's kinda how the actual sport works. Okay, I think I'm more than ready for an actual match, so let's get into it. Each game has 3 rounds, and you can make them as short or as long as you want in the options before the game starts. You can select from 5 different countries in the team selection. Wait, there's no plague country here. This game fucking sucks. As luck would have it, I won my first match. I'm totally the best at this game. This has totally activated my competitive instinct, so let's go for the tournament. So, I lost the first round and died. What the actual fuck? Alright, let's check the franchise mode instead. You might think this is just a boring management mode, but it's actually pretty wild. You are the general manager of a new team, and in order to enroll your team in the league, you have to literally sell one of your kidneys, and you can see the moment where the butchers in the facility rip it out from your body. After waking up from the gruesome surgery, you are shown the facilities and can start working on your team. This is basically a GM mode like the ones in wrestling games, where you have an initial budget to form your team and start playing. You gotta take care of their health and stats, but mostly the money, as the instructions in the computer kindly remind you. There are 4 types of players. Snipers, which are the tall ones and specialize in accuracy when shooting towards the goal and passing the puck. Playmakers, who are usually faster skaters and can charge shots more quickly. Enforcers, who are sturdier and are more dangerous in fights. And the goalies, who are impervious to damage and don't participate in brawls, as you can't even control their movement unless you win a challenge to unlock the option to manually move the goalie. You can control your team's daily activities and their diets, which help to increase and decrease their stats. Oh, and you can also fill your players up with performance-enhancing drugs, which you actually have to buy yourself from a shady dealer in a dirty alley outside the facilities, as this apparently illegal hockey league has no anti-doping tests. You earn money by winning games, so it's important to keep your team healthy and their stats balanced, as they can get injured or even killed during brawls in the matches. In my first game in the league, I actually killed a guy on the opposite team. Overall, this game is unadulterated and dumb fun, as you can just play a couple of matches to unwind after a long day, or delve deep into franchise mode and make a name for yourself as the greatest GM that shady hockey league has ever known, and is definitely simpler and more accessible than Mutant Football League. Check this game out if you like hockey, brawling during games, and aspire to be a general manager. Man, that was great! I had the time of my life fighting on the hockey field. I wonder how Jackman's doing in the league.
A kidney? Are you fucking kidding me?
Hey, I told you it was expensive to get in that league.
I thought you meant money, not a damn kidney.
Kidneys can be exchanged for goods and services.
Shut up! Just look. I've been maimed, almost dismembered, drugged, had an organ removed from my body. I feel even less healthy than when I came here looking for help.
Look, have you ever thought about getting into a sport where, you know, the actual objective is avoiding getting hit?
Spit it out, Von Plague. What do you have in mind?
I'm talking about dodgeball, you dumbass.
Dodgeball? Come on, can you be serious for one moment in your entire life? I'm a grown-ass man, not some high schooler trying to pass gym class.
I'm serious, Jackman. Dodgeball is a real sport. Look it up, you uncultured swine.
Well, I'll be damned. Alright, do you have another shady and dangerous league where I can play and maybe get my head blown off by a ball and be put out of my misery?
The problem is that you're an amateur trying to play at a professional level, so I got the right place for you to start from the bottom. A little academy dedicated to this sport and its sacred rituals.
I won't let a single ball hit my face. I will become the master of balls. Yeah, ignore that.
Now that I think about it, we should also take a trip to the ancient school of this millenary sport by taking a look at our last game of the day, Dodgeball Academia. Dodgeball Academia is a sports RPG developed by Pocket Trap and published by Humble Bundle Games, and was released for PC and consoles on August 5, 2021, making it the most recent game on this video. This is a sort of action RPG where the combat is just a game of dodgeball. Now, this is a sport that I can understand. You just throw the ball into the opponent's face as hard as you possibly can till you knock them out. You can either avoid the ball or try to catch it, and the matches can be individual, pairs, and 3-on-3 depending on the plot requirements. Matches can have variations in rules too. For example, knockout zone rules means that once a member of the team is knocked out, they switch places behind the opposing team, where they can attack if they reach a ball, so it's important to either catch or counter every shot from the opponent. Still, out of the 3 sports we have delved into today, I think that this is the most straightforward. Now, unlike the previous 2 games, this one is actually a story-driven adventure. You play as Otto, a new student that is transferred to the Dodgeball Academia and immediately enters a tournament that is officiated every year by the school. The gameplay revolves around exploring the school, doing side quests for another students, teachers or school staff, while leveling up and honing your skills. The game has the classic RPG elements that you'd expect from a game like this, like healing items that strangely can only be used outside of combat, and equipable items. You can equip 2 items on each party member for different effects during the matches, like having more HP or attack power. Once you win a battle, all party members receive the same level of XP, and you also get some money to buy things in the store. 31 cents? Fucking broke-ass kids. While battles are an important part of the gameplay, exploration is also a particularly enticing element, as you must look everywhere around the academy to find hidden items, equipables, and also side quests. You can travel faster around the campus, not by running, but by turning into a ball yourself like you're Sonic. Even if you're constantly crashing around into everything. There are chests and trash cans around the school that, for some reason, can't be opened normally, and instead you must throw a ball at them. So it's recommended that you pick up all the balls you find lying around on the floor while exploring. There are also wild encounters while exploring the academy. If the NPCs see you, they will immediately stop you for a match, just like Pokemon trainers, which I find really funny. Speaking of characters, the main cast is really unique and distinguishable in both abilities and design. In fact, the game's art style is really reminiscent of that 2010s Cartoon Network show aesthetic, like Steven Universe, Gumball or Clarence. There are characters like Mina, that can't catch the ball but instead counter it, or Vampy, who's extremely fast and you gotta wait until she gets dazed in order to get a hit. Each character has their own special shots too, like Otto's fire shot and Mina's electric shot, as well as a Ultimate move, which is a devastating shot that can easily obliterate your opponent's HP bar. Design-wise, we have our very good friend Balloony, who is just a kid with a balloon for a head. We also have our typical rockabilly student, and my personal favorite, there is a monkey teacher called Macaco. This is the best game ever. My final impression of the game is very positive, especially if you're looking for a game that's more of a single-player, story-focused experience and less arcade quick gameplay. Although, this game also has a local multiplayer mode, so you and your friends can throw your ball at each other's faces. Man, I have to choose my words better. Check this game out if you like RPGs that are oddly similar to Pokemon yet are not Pokemon, single-player focused sports games, and the barbaric action of throwing a rubber ball at people's faces. Alright, that seemed like a refreshing change of pace from all the gratuitous violence from the other games. Now, if my math's correct, and I'm pretty sure it isn't, Jackman should be back from the academia right about now. Oh, of course. Well, maybe the boss got delayed.
One Plague!
Hey, look who's back!
Look, I don't know what your twisted, deranged idea of fun is.
Oh, that's easy. You just take a quarter of whiskey, 2 clowns, and...
I said I don't wanna know!
What happened? Didn't you have fun at the Dodgeball Academia?
Fun? Fun? I had the time of my life! Turns out my special move was the legal shot, and with it, I sued that academy for all they had. Sure, all those kids will have nowhere to study the arts of dodgeball, and all those teachers will be left without a job, but hey, I got enough money to take a vacation and reconstruct my mangled body.
So, are you gonna get another kidney?
Nah, I didn't get that much money. But still, even though I was maimed, burned, electrocuted, almost murdered, and butchered, I feel strangely refreshed and active. Maybe you do know what you're doing, One Plague. Thanks for everything, you crazy hack. I'll see you in the courthouse if you ever dare to try and defend another worthless piece of shit game that nobody likes ever again.
That's subtly specific, but okay. Well, I guess that will be all for today, my dear teammates. Tell me, did you know about any of these games we talked about today? Do you have any suggestions for other weird and obscure sports games? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, one game a day keeps the plague doctor away. Oh, nice! That must be the kidney I needed for my experiments. Let's keep this our very little secret.